The other story going on segues us into our tiny takeaway.
Ooh. We're flying. Love it.
Should we slow down?
No, I love it.
Oh,
We're
I'm happy.
We're caffeinated and
I'm
ready to rip and roar.
Decaffeinated.
What's with you and decaf?
I like to sleep at night.
It's
Got
like-
a problem with that?
If you this is a hot take. If you drink decaf, just drink water. Don't waste people's times.
Whose time am I wasting by making myself a cup of decaf coffee?
The people who decided to grind it down to the decaf of the decaf. You don't need people grinding in coffee and just saying, I'm just saying.
So it's my fault that there are companies who employ decaf coffee bean roasters.
Those roasters probably dislike their life a lot.
Wow.
Just dislike it. Like, I'm literally making
Nothing water.
I'm adding like a tint. I know.
Listen,
Those beans were not created to be that way. Let me tell you, you're going against.
are we warping their
the-
nature and
You're
their
warping
image?
their nature and image.
Listen, here's the thing. I used to be a chronic all-day caffeinated person. I would caffeinate myself so much, and it made me very unpleasant. So you should be thanking me. This is a favor to you and to your children.
Yeah, not to the viewers. Okay. All that to say, our tiny takeaway.
So we were going to talk about the red dye.
The red dye, number 3, not number 4, not number 5, number 3.
Number 3, my lord.
Number 3, my lord. Number 3 is banned.
In America?
In America. And it was already banned in other countries, but they finally, America's like, I guess this is kind of bad for us.
What has red dye 3?
So what has red dye 3 are strawberry flavored things, Peeps, anyone eat
Like a
Peeps?
Jolly Rancher? Or
I'm more like Ring Pops.
a Ring Pop
Yeah.
that has a red 3?
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff that has red 3
Yeah.
that you not like we eat red 3, but
Well, for example, something that has red dye is like Goldfish and Cheez-Its. That's not strawberry flavored, so probably that's like a different red dye.
there's just candy, cakes, cupcakes, frozen desserts.
So why did they ban it? What's wrong with it?
A bunch of things. The natural thing causing cancer. I think that's anytime things are bad, it's like leading cause of cancer and stuff like that. And so there's bad things that come along with it. And many people talk about the negativity of Red 40 on all those things, so I understand that. And so let me tell you guys, I am not one to always harp on let's look at the ingredients. Or Alyssa and I grew up microwaving plastic. I grew up the microwave's my best friend, and I love.
Did you say you microwaved your best friend? What did you say?
Microwaving plastic, okay? The microwave is my best friend, basically.
Oh, the microwave was my best friend.
Yes, the microwave was my best friend. I did not microwave my best friend. And so, but we grew up drinking out of tap water. We grew up drinking out of the garden hose. We drank, we didn't care about, I still don't care about clean water. But all that to say, what are you going to say?
Well, just that you could talk about, I'm sorry, I have a sneeze fit.
Okay, so while she's sneezing.
You could talk about the history of food in America and how, I'm so sorry, it's gonna come out again. How, with food scarcity, coming from a time the Great Depression and then the war and all that stuff, food scarcity to what our parents were coming up in.
Bless you.
So sorry, it's disgusting.
You just leave the room. It's okay.
What that when you could mass produce food for inexpensive costs and feed your family, you're not well, what are the ingredients? It's oh, whatever, this is affordable food. And there's nothing wrong with living in a time like that. There wasn't as much regulation and you didn't know what was in there. You were just happy to have something you could afford to feed your children, so that's how we grew up, I feel like.
Well, and we grew up in it wasn't, well, they also smoked cigarettes everywhere. So it wasn't a time where they worried about it until I don't know. All that to say, my mentality as a parent. Okay, I have to hold it down the fort. My mentality as a parent as like a husband to a wife who does all the research, and she does all the, like, she's part of the communities that talk about like the bad substances, all these different things, and microplastics and all these things are in it. And I'm like, this is all flying over the head. Like, I survived. I'm doing okay. I barely get sick. And like, I make it happen. I live. And so why should I have to worry and care and change my lifestyle for something that you can't see or feel, or like is not making an impact right now in my life? But
you have to think about the long run.
Yeah, you have to think about the long run. And so, and my heart has softened to listen to the wisdom of my wife, because ultimately she does the studying. And
which and when you say my wife does the studying, like, your wife has friends who do studying.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Tell me what I need to know.
We're part of communities that know about things. And what happens, I think, all that to say is, even though I grew up with this very caveman mentality, like, me eat food is good, microwave, whatever, I still see, okay, let it out.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead, keep going.
I lost my train of thought. You gotta take over.
Okay. Even though you and I both grew up with like I said, just eating what you can, getting what you can afford, being thankful that there is food on the shelves, and that, this is something I can afford to feed my kids. It's fine. That as time has gone on, we've come to realize there's been so much more regulation, and we've just come to realize how many things are in the food that we buy processed food that's not as good for our kids. And so we just slowly kind of make swaps or integrate things and take other things out, and we just try to keep track with our own kids. But we are not like, by any means, like on any kind of strict diet. Like, we just do what we can. And I think that it's really cool to like learn about this stuff and to think to yourself, I'm just going to do what I can. I'm going to do what makes sense to me right now. And that's like one of my really good friends is like that as well, where we both say, yes, like I know I shouldn't be putting my hot food into plastic, and I don't want my kids to interact with anything that's going to put toxins in their system. Like, we've read all the things and we know all the things, but ultimately, what's realistic for me, having 3 very young children, living on a single income, and being a stay-at-home mom, trying to homeschool, trying to take care of everybody? Like, we don't have the ability to incorporate all the knowledge at all times. And we just do what we can. Make a swap where you can.
And that's what I realized is that, maybe Pop-Tarts every day is probably not the best thing for you.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
So, saying that,
I'm on the screen.
Yeah.
You're
just watching. I think that's what people want to see right there. You deep in your nose. Deep down. My wife's, never mind, I'm not going to say it.
What? You have to finish your sentence or they're going to think the worst.
No, I just say, you're a gold digger. More than one. No.
What?
It's like a digger. You're digging your nose. Gold digging. You're digging for gold. Anyway.
Wow. That's really good.
It's really deep.
Yeah. That was a really good one. I'm so glad that
you wanted me to say. I didn't want to say it.
I didn't want to start saying it and then stop.
I just didn't want to say it. Okay.